कुठे ते डॉक्टर असं अरे वरती खाली ते असं हे होतं काय डॉक्टर.
Good morning.
Yeah, good morning, sir. I
How
think
are
you will
you?
have to. I'm fine, sir. I think you will have to keep the. Yeah, that is a better angle, sir. Yeah.
Okay, okay. ठीक है.
So good afternoon, all,
Good
and
afternoon.
thanks for joining. I can see around 50 people have already joined this session. Uh, so today we are going to talk about a very special topic about the fraud detection in health claim, and that too in the background of this pandemic, which is encompassing entire world. Corona as a disease, as a virus, it's real. So first and foremost, I would urge everyone to take all the precautions, all the safety precautions as listed by government and all authorities, because it's a real infection, and don't believe in any WhatsApp messages being circulated around. So it's a real infection, it is causing real damage, and from insurance industry we observe how many claims are coming, how many people are getting admitted, how many of them are not able to come out live. So it's a real infection, and my request to all of you is stay safe, take all the precaution told by all the government authorities, municipal authorities. Don't believe in WhatsApp messages, those are being circulated around. Current situation in the country is that now there are no beds available in the hospitals, and we are, of course, the industry has come up with a lot of other solutions. We'll discuss in this pandemic how we are trying to attach them. This particular session, I have invited an expert in a very specific area, and of course, Dr. Asrani needs no introduction. Dr. Asrani has founded Inches, and he's a rare combination of active clinical practice of 43 years and an insurance domain experience of 20 years. He has trained a lot of doctors on insurance field. So medical experience, practicing medical experience, insurance claim experience, and let us deep dive with what Dr. Asrani is doing. He has brought to the market the concept of medical audit and a very focused approach on training doctors. He was part of panel at 11th Forum of Government Sponsored Health Insurance Schemes in India. So I will just, with this small introduction, sir, your biodata is too big, but I have got time limit. So with this small introduction, let me start on with Dr. Asrani. Sir, you and your organization has been working in the area of health claims and related field for so many years. What are your major areas of works? I think you elaborate it for all our participants.
Sir, when I started this company, I was new to insurance. So today, after 20 years, I am working in every field except pricing of the product. Wherever you need a doctor to come and give opinion in addition to your insurance knowledge, I have kind of worked with companies as a de facto CMO, not the title, but working in every field. So I am working in product development, de-risking your bold concept, underwriting, claims, legal, and everything. And of course, training, as you said.
So great, sir. That with this small introduction, but I think if you go through his profile, you will take at least 5 minutes to read out. So I have
Thank you,
skipped
sir.
that
Thank you.
in the interest of time, which we want to devote more on the today's subject. The current scenario in healthcare is very challenging, where facilities are being burdened with excess number of cases, and market is finding different solutions like home quarantine and all. So this also open up lot of avenues for fraudsters. Health claim fraud is reality, and I had read a World Insurance Forum statistic that 17% claims in health insurance are fraud. But with this current pandemic, so I think it has opened up a very vast area again for people who really want to play with the system. So when we talk about health claim frauds, we use the terms such as soft fraud and hard fraud. Can you elaborate a bit on what is a soft fraud or hard fraud, so that will be part of the discussion further, sir?
So actually there are three terms: hard fraud, soft fraud, and leakage. Hard fraud is where I go to a hospital and I tell him that I got appendix done 3 years ago. I didn't have a policy then. Today, can you give me a bill of appendixectomy? The bill is 50,000. I pay the doctor 20%. I did not get admitted and I took the claim. That is hard fraud. Secondly, I have a policy with you, but my brother 2 years younger to me does not have a policy. Your health card does not carry a photograph. So I go to hospital and talk to them beforehand only. My brother will get operated under my name. Do you want that business? And they will say yes. Who will say no to money? That is hard fraud. Soft fraud, on the other hand, is abuse. I am getting admitted for gastroenteritis. My bill ideally should be 11,000, 15,000. But a very good doctor comes to me and asks me, do you have a headache? Now, which person with gastroenteritis will not have a headache? I say yes. So they do a CT scan. That is abuse. I am a diabetic. I get admitted for viral fever, but it is my annual checkup due. So all my checkups of diabetes, all consultations I get it done, that is abuse. Now there are three stakeholders in insurance. One is the payer, the insurer. Second is the consumer or the user, and third is the provider. So majority of abuse happens either with the knowledge of provider or user, but many times in collusion, because end of the day money is wanted. The third one, which I said, leakage, is the fraud perpetrated by employees of the insurance company who are kept there to catch fraud but fail to do so. This means you have a filter, but it is allowing the money to go out. Now, if you agree that 25% of claims are fraud, that is despite all the care that we take to contain fraud. So that is leakage, and that is where insurance companies have to have better people, better technology and other things. I hope that clears the air of hard and soft fraud.
Yes, sir. And hard, soft, and leakages, these are major challenges today we see in health insurance. We want to serve all the genuine customer and we want to give the best of the services. But these miscreants and all, they increase the turnaround time even for a genuine customer. We have to call for investigation on the some suspicion. And we are always in the catch me if you can scenario. You know, the market is very innovative. We try to unearth one trend in health claim fraud. They come up with something else and they move to different geography. They move to different this thing. So they always invent new avenues and different ways to cheat. How health claim fraud over the years have changed? What are the trends that you have observed? I think you have some interesting stories of the frauds if we go around, but what are the major trends that you have observed in the market, Indian market?
Sir, before insurance was privatized, fraud was very low, mainly because the penetration was low. I remember in 2000, we said that 2% of Indian population has health insurance. Now, there also people were generally, more of an opportunistic fraud, that we will try and see if we can get this claim. When insurance got privatized, people realized there was a lot of publicity. Initially, there was not so much publicity. A lot of publicity and a lot of figures came into the media that this bank, this brand has invested so many 1,000 crores in this insurance. So people realized that, oh, there is big money. And any private insurance company in the first 5 years was very media shy. They didn't want to reject a claim and come in media. And then that time it was more of opportunistic fraud. But now today the fraud is mainstream. We have impersonation at pre-issuance medicals. We have tests which are not done, reports printed. We have people taking a obese daughter-in-law for a ECG of supposedly her mother-in-law. So we have fraud in, and now you know, you will agree with me that there is organized fraud also.
Yes.
In certain geographies, there is insurance mafia.
Yes.
I have even heard that certain field investigators went to a certain location, were actually murdered. So the stakes are very high here. Policy on non-existing people. Fraud is mainstream, and very sadly in India, we do not have the support of police and judiciary as much as they have in other Western world. Yes, sir.
Absolutely, sir. Absolutely, sir. And I see people are already giving comments like Manojji, I know from BibTech, he's saying, in inpatient itself, we are seeing such a fraud. What will be the thing when OPD comes? But I think I will park that question by the side. When we are already saddled with such a fraudulent activities and trends in the market that you are describing, and all of the viewers, most of the viewers are agreeing to this, the pandemic has hit us hard, and really the maybe earlier part of the pandemic, when it started developing March, April, the hospital occupancy was lower, and there were other issues. But today hospitals are overcrowded, over flooded, and hats off, salute to all the health workers who have gone beyond their duties and helped the customer in this pandemic. These fraudulent activities are giving some trouble, but still, as a healthcare providers, as a doctors, nurses, and all other persons on ground, I think entire India saluted them, and we should salute. That is a tremendous work they have done. What has been your observation is COVID-19 related hospitalization and related health claims so far? It is still developing, but what are your observations, doctor?
Sir, one side we have the stakeholder, the provider, and other side the user. Now, I will take COVID-19 as another scenario where there is major economic slump. And what we have seen is whenever the economy goes down, like 2009 market crash, in the wake of demonetization, fraudulent activity increased. Because people suddenly realize they need money for healthcare and they have no cover, or they don't have enough cover. You will agree with me, Mr. Bhaskar, that half of Indian population who has insurance is underinsured.
Yes.
People have insurance of 1-2 lakh rupees, which is today nothing. So this period, I think there is going to be a lot of impersonation, because there is going to be sympathy towards the COVID victim. So I expect a lot of impersonation. Secondly, hospitals are fighting for emergency cases. Elective surgeries have stopped. There was big money coming in elective surgeries. Hospitals were not making money in medical cases. Now all my cases are medical. And beyond, and because it is COVID, there is a limit to the investigation that I can do. Maybe 2% cases go into cytokine storm, very critical. So there is a tendency to start billing under various heads. And as a result, the total bill inflates. So for you, it is a very big pressure, which head of claim to be paid, which head not to be paid. And then you can expect a lot of litigation 3 months down the line when you part pay a claim. So this is going to increase. Second area where I feel the claim will increase is fraudulent accident claims. Because accident is something where there is no waiting period. People may take a policy on 10th of May, 11th of May accident, you have to cover the accident.
Absolutely.
So that is where a lot of medical conditions may be shown as accidents. The commonest is a brain hemorrhage due to medical condition. I'm walking, I get a hemorrhage, I fall down. The family says, I got a hemorrhage because I fell down. So a lot of deep insights into how accident claims can be defrauded will be required by the insurers. But yes, fraud is going to increase.
Yeah. Thank you, sir. Thank you. I think you are taking your viewers, everybody into a lot of deeper things, thought those are emerging. But COVID-19 has faced posed a lot of challenges to entire economy market. We see businesses are realigning themselves, and hats off to Indian economy, where problems are not stop signs, but problems are guidelines. Like our company or any other organization, they have simply shifted every activity to the virtual world, and people have found a way how to work in virtual world, how to sell the insurance in virtual world. Insurance per se was a face-to-face sale, but today I see that entire country, entire economy has accepted the fact that there is not going to be any face-to-face meetings, and we will have the entire sale process shifted to digital channel, entire training shifted to digital channel. Then the solicitation part of insurance is also shifted to digital channel. So post COVID-19, every business has to rethink its strategy. What are the changes that you are experiencing in your field of activity, which is training, of course, is part of it. Then there's a lot of analytics. So what are the changes that you are seeing in your field of activity?
Sir, the future is digital. Your sales will be digital. One will be the customer coming directly to your website and asking for a policy. Second, your advisor, who only makes money when he sells a policy, will now connect with his customer on WhatsApp video or any other channel, and you will be again exposed to the similar abuse that you get with advisors. Secondly, I am sure you will be covering most of the new policies through tele underwriting or video underwriting. But going ahead, there's going to be, I see next 1.5 years, lot of litigation coming up, lot of grievances coming up, because people, when they have a policy, they want everything paid. From our side, we are fortunate that 4 years ago, we started taking care of investing into tech products, because as sir, you don't get doctors, we don't get good doctors. Doctors make better money perpetrating fraud than fighting fraud. So we have started developing products to help our team to fight the fraud. And gradually, I think we are going to reach and will be able to support all this lockdown period. I can say that our TAT has actually come down because we are using technology in a big way.
So that's what my next question was, doctor, because when we started technology in an enabling model, assisting model. We do something, and at the back end technology processes it gives me trends and all. But today it is on the go technology that is requested at every phase. Maybe as you rightly said, underwriting. I don't have time when the customer is online filling up the form. Back end some engine has to work and check that. When customer is admitted to hospital, backend engine has to work and check the trends and come this. You have also come up with some extensive use of technology in detecting health claim frauds and trends. Can you throw some light on these technology use cases that you have at your place?
Yes, sir, I will be happy to. First is we made our transaction management software where all the companies we give underwriting support, we have made it direct. Our services go through API, and the company does not require a human resource at their end to take my decision and put it into action. We have developed an analytic tool which, if clubbed to your system, can run we can run almost 5,000 to 7,000 per hour of applications coming in, data taken from them, the investigation reports coming in of medical underwriting, extracting through OCR, applying rules, your rules plus our rules of healthcare, and giving flags. Then if you have a set question of underwriting, tele-underwriting, based on these findings, few questions are added to the tele-underwriting listing. Then we have created a tool called IntelliClaims. See, you will understand that every doctor, I'm a doctor myself, doctors come with a chip on their shoulder. You can't tell them anything much. So if you give one claim file to 10 doctors, you will get 6 different responses. So using this IntelliClaims, we are making sure that 100 doctors for one file will give the same reply, because we have used standard treatment guidelines and we have made rule-based analytics. We have till now coded about 10,000 plus ICD and CPT codes. Then I have a platform for auditing where doctor cannot use his language, he has to use a particular language. So post audit analytics also give a lot of value to the insurer. Lastly, our field investigation activity, the probe. My field officer, before he leaves the location, has to get a okay from somebody in the office who's there 24/7 that work is over, images are proper, and everything is done. Investigation in going ahead period is going to change drastically. I hope this
Sir,
suffices.
yeah, sir. A lot of use of technology that we are coming to know, and all this is happening behind the scene. But as I am, my next question goes: there is a today huge role of a field investigator who goes to the hospital, he visits hospital, he visits the customer. Some of us are trying to send somebody in the guise of like a welcome call and just to take care that the customer is using, just to get that physical sense that yes, incident is genuine. Because at the end of it, entire insurance industry want to serve the genuine customer in the best possible way. Everybody has to see to that the customer SLAs are maintained. But going forward, do you see the role of physical investigation, is it decreasing, or this will be more assisted by the technology and it will be a balance between two? So what is your thought process on that, doctor?
Sir, drastic changes will have to be done. Now, one thing, field investigations, because of the containment zones and all, is going to be restricted. But once the lockdown lifts, I think field investigation for cashless claims will have to be very high, because we have to be sure that there is no impersonation. Secondly, this is just my suggestion. My suggestions initially are taken by insurance with a pinch of salt because it requires a lot of effort. I think all your network hospitals should have webcams installed so that at the time of patient coming in, that picture live is given to you. It's compared with the customer's photograph and you are sure that it is there. And maybe you may have to take regulator permission. Once the patient is in hospital, somebody should do a video call to confirm the patient is really in that hospital. So technology will have to assist. Secondly, failure of investigation. Now, you understand that if the investigation fails, you have wasted money, plus the claim has been put on hold for a long time, and you have a very irate customer. So the selection of cases to be sent for investigation should be handled very diligently. Again, use the technology. And then whether the person has done the job properly or not also to be evaluated. So I think the whole thing will have to change, but field investigations will not become less. Field investigations will increase, but the way they are happening will differ. That is the thing.
So, sir, one great compliment coming from you that with all your technical this thing, Manojji is saying that you are more now an engineer than a doctor, and I know
Oh, thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you for those nice words.
It is always pleasure talking to Dr. Hasan, because every time we discuss something, we get some input, some knowledge. We work through office, but Dr. Asrani has worked with all the companies and he has got so much experience and exposure, and he keeps on giving these inputs of whatever we find cost wise and this thing and more relevant to our this thing, we implement those. We are more relevant to the business. So I will just sum up the discussion so far that one thing is COVID is real, but yes, fraudulent activities are there in market, and Dr. Asrani rightly said there are three types of fraud, like soft fraud, hard fraud, or the leakages. Leakages is what we try to control. Hard fraud, of course, there is a lot of investigation that goes on, and as Dr. rightly said, there will be role of physical investigation, but it has to be assisted by technology. And to find the hard fraud and soft fraud and leakages at the back end, there is a now increasing use of AI and ML, and doctor has already given us that idea. One last comment, Dr. Parting comment from your side, because you are in industry, you are in medical field for last so many years, you have done such a good work. And these are tough times. These are very, very tough times for mankind, humankind. Forget insurance industry. It is tough times for everybody. So your parting comments and advice to all our listeners that have logged in today, Doctor.
Sir, these are tough times, but at least for next 1 to 1.5 year, there'll be tremendous pressure from sales on underwriting, tremendous pressure from sales on claims. So I will be very brief and I will just say, please take care because you need to be very careful. All the sympathy is with the fraudster, nothing with us because we supposedly have money. So please take care.
Yes, sir. That's a great input. As doctor said that already fraudulent activities are there, and because of this pandemic situation, they're getting some sympathy. If you must be seeing a lot of things on WhatsApp where videos are coming. Patients are asking hospitals on what sort of charges being charged and all. So this has really opened up a lot of issues. The authorities, state government, and local authorities have put some restriction on the billing the way that happen. Cash patients will get few advantage, but insurance industry has to bear the other burnt of the bill. And for that, as Dr. rightly said, that there are various ways by which we will try to control this through technology, through all other means. So with this small comment from my side, Doctor, I think we will close this interaction. Thank you. Nice having you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much for inviting me. It's an honor to be here. Thank you.
Thank you, Doctor. Thank you. Thanks a lot. Thank you. Thanks everyone for logging in for this interesting discussion. I hope everybody has got some points. There were some 2-3 questions, but we will have to cut it because of the time restrictions also. It's a working day, first day of the week. So thank you all. Thanks for joining and see you next time around. Thank you, Doctor.
Thanks, Mr. Bhaskar. Thanks. Bye.